So, have you ever been told you have a big difference between your eyes in your prescription? That's one that gets a lot more interesting. I bet you don't have a lot of fun wearing glasses usually, right? Because what happens, you've got one image that's a little bit larger or a little bit smaller than the other, depending on the eye and the way the prescription works. It can be pretty problematic. So, eh, there's a few different ways to go about fixing that. There's some specially designed lenses that work for it, or you can run a few calculations and make your own lens for it. But what it amounts to is there are ways to increase that comfort that is not really very comfortable. So here's what it amounts to. You've got one image right here, you've got another image right here, you get one bigger over the other. The brain struggles to try and put those two images together and fuse them, which is what our brain does, right? You've got two eyes, you see with them, you see two different images, the brain puts them together and makes one. That's how you get depth perception, and that's basically what works there. But now you've got two different size images, right? So what goes on with that? First of all, yes, you get lots of eye strain from it. It causes a lot of issues with comfort. Occasionally it can even cause double vision, or it almost looks like a shadow over another image. And if you do just normal glasses to correct for that, it doesn't really help the situation. It actually can make it worse because of the curvature of the lenses. The differences there can even magnify and amplify that smaller and larger image to a greater degree, making it even more annoying to try and wear that. Can you imagine looking at two different size images all day? For you, these people here I'm talking to that don't have a clue what it's like to wear different prescriptions, yeah, it's tough. Alright, now, so as far as actually correcting for that, I mentioned there's a few different ways to do it. There are, of course, lenses designed specifically for that, and you'll find Shaw is a big manufacturer in these lenses designed to compensate. Now, there's, of course, extra measurements involved in getting that done. It has to go through a specialty lab that produces their lenses, and all this to say, of course, they're not inexpensive. Now, they're not going to be inexpensive no matter how you do it if it's done right, because there is a lot of extra hand calculating out to correct for it, even if you don't use lenses designed for it. If you don't use lenses designed for it, but you still want to balance that difference out, they use what are called aniseikonia lenses. So they balance that image difference some. There's a few different ways to do it. You can vary the thickness a little bit, you can change up base curves, you can inverse base curves. All this comes down to the little magic pieces that's sitting in here and how that relates to how that image is translated in the eye and into the brain. So you can change that image size, basically the amount of magnification, by changing up the thickness right here, or by changing the actual curvature, or a combination of the two to achieve the same goal. The reason you would want to do that is because what I was talking about before. So you want to get those images back to closer in size so you don't have as much issue where it matters, what we actually see with. I say this all the time. The brain is what we actually see with, or at least it's what puts the images together, and yeah, that's where it comes from. So your eyes are just the film in front of the sensor, right? Anyways, still not sure. I don't like that. We'll figure it out. But if you're one of these people with that big difference in prescription between the eyes, if nobody's ever mentioned this to you, especially if they've never done it for you, you definitely want to check in and see if you can have these types of lenses made for you. Some places don't offer it. Honestly, a lot of places don't offer it. Small independent shops are going to be the biggest place you're going to find something like that, because we have the time to deal with it. There's that. And we're not trying to serve 100 people a day or 1,000 people a day or however many it is every single day in and out. And, honestly, like I said, there's more calculation involved in it. So, people that are trying to serve the masses, you're not going to find that because it's harder to do it, and to do it right in particular, it's not an easy job. So if you're one of these people, definitely ask about it next time you see about getting some glasses. If you've never heard of what I'm talking about, but you do have a difference between the two eyes, you've seen it either on the paper or been told about it, nobody's ever said anything about these lenses, let me know. I'm curious to see how many people are floating around out there with a big difference in prescription between the two eyes, but have never even been mentioned that there's a possible solution to make glasses more comfortable. Of course, you can do contacts, but hey, we like glasses here, right? See you guys next time.